Hey guys, welcome to the show. Just scared this guy.
Felt a sudden blast of hot air hit me right in the side of the face. Hi.
Hello. Hopefully you guys can hear us. Are we good? Okay, awesome. I like to just double check that little thing just in case. All right. Well, we have been tooling on this lovely secret lake for a moment now, and by we I mean Kevin has been doing that. So we're going to color today. And by we, I mean Kevin is going to color today. So for those of you, I don't know, Justin, you want to hit 4 real fast? So we started working on this last Friday while Denny was finishing up his lamp. So we actually have a little recorded video that we'll be working on editing of Kevin and the beginning bits of this. But then Wednesday you can watch that full show as Kevin worried his leather to his will and got it to this kind of a place, which he thinks is what you get when you rush.
So this is completely unreasonable.
Completely unreasonable.
Yes.
Okay.
Because number one, if I was going to make a nice picture, I've made some nice pictures.
You sure have. We got some hanging on the wall.
Well, those are just painted. Those aren't tooled. But I've made some nice pictures in the past. And to do one of these in an hour and a half.
We ask a lot of you.
Hey, I did my best for the time I had.
That's right.
And this is, in my eyes, what you get when you hurry. But it's okay, because it's going to serve a purpose.
Absolutely.
And what you're going to see today, and as far as coloring goes, is much the same. So it's, normally if I would tool a piece like this, I would probably spend maybe 6 or 8 hours on it.
About a full work day.
Yeah, and we've got 2.
We've got 2
most.
hours.
So anyway, we got what we got, and we're gonna make it work. And there's a couple things that people can learn from this, and something that I learned from it a long time ago is that you might not always be able to do the best quality of tooling that you wish you could do, but if you can color things, or even just use the colors wisely, like an antique, or even an oil, an antique plus an oil, you can make work that's not your idea of what the best is. You can make it look pretty good.
Do you just mean like neatsfoot oil?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and get some colors on this, and we're going to use acrylic paint. And
we've got Angelus. That's what we got.
Acrylic paint is challenging. You have a choice. You can use acrylic paints, or you can use spirit dyes if you want to get color onto a piece of leather that you've tooled. You can just tool.
Are you gonna?
I really should. So
Kevin's important. Hold
hang
please.
on.
I'm gonna mute real fast.
Hello, Stephen. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, guys.
That was, I could put it on silent, I guess.
That's Steve.
Good old Steve sells us the world's cheapest leather and the world's most expensive leather, and everything in between. So anyway, we are gonna, you can, as I was saying, you can tool a flower on leather, and you can either dye it with spirit dye, or you can dye it with acrylic. If you dye it with spirit dye, it's real easy. because it just soaks in right away, and at least I think it's pretty easy to do. But the colors will never remain as vivid as they will with acrylic paint. So the trick is to figure that out. The only way you're going to figure that out is to do some stuff and practice on it. The first thing I would practice on is a horse head with some floral stuff around it.
Which Kevin did last time. He was in here doing actual videos, not trading cards. So
Yeah,
you can
and
look back.
I've got
a while
brand new
ago.
brushes here that are, boy oh boy, they're
Brand
new,
spanking new, right out of the
brand
box.
spanking new, and I'm gonna,
They are knockoff Bob Ross brushes, because Kevin's cheap.
Kevin's cheap. Okay, well, we got to do something here somewhere, so I guess we'll just start with some, you know, that's one of the nice things, you can start anywhere you want. So I'm going to start with some white, and
Oh, let's talk about function real fast. So we've got plenty of water. We have lots and lots of water. You have something to blot on.
yes, and you know, the less is better when you're working with this. So I would definitely want
That's good. That's
less.
You're so Bob Ross in it right now. I love it so much.
Oh, this is not Bob Rossing it. This is what you're seeing here is one of the biggest fakes in the world, because that's all this is. Faking it, faking it, faking it. And you'll be amazed at how little actual color a person has to use. And you can probably see, there ain't much here.
I remember when you were doing the rose and you kind of just kept adding and kept adding. You had really, really diluted color and you just kept kind of going over and over. And the thing about paint is it's a finish, it's a top coat. It's not necessarily soaking in. I mean, I guess the more water you have, maybe you might get a little penetration, but it's mostly sitting on top.
Yeah, it really is. And
And so you can kind of keep changing the color because it's acrylic paint. With dye, I feel like you have to be a lot more careful as you're adding things because you can just turn everything black if you try to add too much.
yeah, that's true. So you do have to be a little bit careful. And I'm trying to keep in mind a time limit here.
I mean, you can take as long as you want.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to leave this dumb thing half done. I mean, I feel like I didn't do people justice if I do that. So, again, caution is the better part of valor here. And if you get too much paint in some place, then at some point, if you don't want it to look stupid, you're going to have to paint over it. That's just the way it is. So you try and work on developing an idea for how much stuff is in your brush. And you'll probably know that I'm going crossways on the sky area here. Because number one, I don't want any vertical streaks in your sky. You gotta kind of be a little reasonable there. And because I'm gonna add some other colors after a while. I don't know if I'm gonna get to that or not, but anyway. Okay, we've got some background stuff there.
Yeah, loose
and I'm
hair.
gonna, these are new brushes. New brushes lose their hair, kind of like old people, you know.
Or you could just be a 35-year-old Justin.
Or, yeah, not worry about it. Or you can be an older person and not worry about it, because I don't worry about it. Okay, let's see. White. Well, that was an easy part. Oh, let's just do some green. Green is exciting.
It's super exciting.
Yeah, I know. You like green.
I do like
This
green.
is we're going to use the same dumb brush, same dumb water, same blotting area. We're just polluting everything. Ugh. The trick is, again, just don't get too much.
Okay, so Ozzy said, I tried to use some gold paint on a holster and it rubbed off rather quickly.
Yeah.
What would you use to protect it?
Well,
or do you think maybe he got too thick and it peeled off?
no, he probably didn't get it too thick.
Okay.
I mean, maybe. I don't know since I wasn't there. But with paint on a holster, if you put paint on anything that's going to get some wear, it's subject to wearing right through. It just is. Mm-hmm. And there isn't a whole lot you can do about that. If it doesn't matter what you put on there for a finish, because you're going to rub through a finish just as easily as you would anything else.
Yeah, because the paint is technically its own finish.
Yeah.
So you can use, I mean, you could add some quick shine, and that'll help prevent some of the rub off, but you'll have to kind of reapply it frequently. Like Kevin said, you'll rub through the finish just like you rub through.
Yeah, well,
paint.
you can rub through any finish that you put on. You know, you just will. That's why shoes get scuffed.
That's right.
It's because you've gone through.
Or that one spot that you sit on your couch.
Or your car seat, or
correct, is dull compared to the rest of it.
Now, one of the things about painting something like this is if you have an idea of the color you're trying to get to, do what I call take the proper detours.
Okay.
Because if you're going to color something darker, it doesn't matter how careful you are really when you're putting on the lighter stuff.
Right.
Because you're going to go right over it. So that's why you can see I'm not being terribly concerned with the various foreground areas here. I'm just getting some paint on, and I've got a lot on there. And even if I go over and get stuff where I perhaps didn't want it, it's not going to be too terribly significant. It's just what it is, kind of. So anyway, we're just getting color on there. It's kind of, I think of it as getting it to be so that I have something to work with. I've gone right over some of the rocks with my green. I mean, where's the last time you saw a green rock? You don't.
Well, there's some moss on the rock.
Maybe they have moss on it.
What do you mean the last time I saw a green rock? We got Vivianite out there.
Okay.
I'm sure you have some Vivianite sitting in your little secret lake right here.
Everybody, that's a little piece right there.
Exactly. So we started with a white, and now he's just got our classic green Angelus, if anybody is super concerned about specific colors. But once again, you can mix and match to make it work, or you're just going to keep building, so.
Yeah, you know, one thing about painting with on leather, it can be very intimidating. That's just fact. I mean, I don't know how else you'd call it. Because most people, they do a good job of tooling or something, and then they color. Oh, no. I'm pretty good at tooling, but I don't know about this color stuff. Yeah, I get that. But if you want to do it, you got to start somewhere. So, little hairs, have lots of little hairs. There's another one. The only place I really don't want too much green is on the lake. I can live with a little, maybe, but I really don't want very much there. So, and if you do this, if you're bound and determined to paint something, to do some figure dyeing type stuff on a piece of leather, don't do it on suede.
No.
No. I mean, you can. There's no suede police out there that are going to come around. You're not painting on that, are you? They're not going to do that.
What about a veg split?
You can paint on anything, but a veg split will drive you nuts.
Because it's just going to soak it up constantly?
No, that's the problem. It doesn't soak it up.
Oh, no?
You have to force the paint down in the fibers. And that's why I'm kind of going back over this, is because since this is my base color, I I want it to get down in all the little places in the trees and what have you, so that when I go over this with other colors, it's kind of there. You know, that you've got that. I got to remember to focus on what I'm doing here. Because if I don't, things don't work well. If you're in doubt, blot. And yeah, if you got too much paint on your brush, you'll probably wish you didn't have as much on there.
Do you have to be careful? The reason that you don't want to just use full blop paint right out of the bottle is because you're not going to really see any of the nice tooling that you've done? Because it'll start to fill in all your cracks?
You know, there's a time and place for everything.
Okay.
And I am going to use some paint right out of the bottle here.
Okay.
Pretty soon. Just not yet. And with some types of work, most of our watchers or people that are watching this are probably not familiar with a man named Dick Giel.
Dick Giel?
Giel. I think it's spelled G-I-E-H-L, perhaps.
Okay.
You can look him up, and he's a very well-known leather crafter, been dead for many years.
Okay.
But he really did a lot of pictures, and you should remember, Liz, anytime you've gone to Herman Oak, there's a picture of a pointer pointing at a partridge or a bird of some kind. That's Dick Giel.
Okay.
The surface of the leather is 100% covered with paint. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it is full-strength paint. And, boy, it's just pretty darn incredible to look at. So, sure, you can use paint full strength. You just have to determine what you want. If you want something subtle, like this is going to be, I would be real tempted to get the color the way I want it on here, and then put some kind of finish over the thing and apply an antique.
Okay.
And wipe it all off, because it'll subdue your colors.
Right.
One thing I don't remember if I mentioned about paint is, well, I think I did. They don't really fade that much.
Right.
Your spirit dyes, if you do this with spirit dyes, I guarantee you, it is going to fade over time. It's real hard to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, you can see a wallet that's been done and super bright and ready to go right off the block.
Yeah.
Everything's, and then a year later,
Okay.
it's pretty much natural
So here,
patinaed leather.
kind of start to think about going.
Oh, Jay Oakley says Dick Giel was my grandfather by marriage.
Well, I'll be darned.
Well, look at you go.
He's probably got access to some pretty darn good pictures.
I think it's Janet. Is it Janet Oakley?
Small world, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Everything about the world is tiny.
and
Jen Oakley.
for what it's worth,
And she does. Well, that is pretty cool.
yeah, and for what it's worth, I have no idea what I'm doing. I wanted you to understand that. This is.
Did she send those?
I went to
Oh.
the website and pulled those.
Oh my goodness, look at that bird. Look, Justin found a couple of the paintings that he did and plopped them up on the left,
Just
right hand side.
pretty
Kevin's
darn amazing,
blotting.
aren't they?
Those are fantastic. I want that bird in my house. Up there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that guy was amazing.
That's amazing.
So, one of the things about coloring a piece of leather, or putting paint on a painting, for that matter, is try and use good brushes. Because if you don't, it's much more difficult.
How are you feeling about these ones?
They're okay.
Okay.
you know,
They're okay.
I don't have a problem using a bad brush. I am, as you possibly know, fairly lazy.
Yeah.
And I would work with an almost okay brush rather than get off my dead butt and go try to find the right one.
So Kevin just mixed a little bit of black in here with the just regular old green that we've been using. And plenty of water.
Yeah, lots of water.
His eagles were Jen's favorite. That's pretty good. What a fun little world.
Yeah, so we've all kind of figured something out today. You know, one thing about leather dyes and paints, a lot of people don't understand that the whole key to success is to get the stuff on the leather. I mean, you can get it on there any old way you want. And you probably noticed I am poking it
I see that.
in some instances. Pokety poke poke. It's kind of fun. You get your color down in that way. It's down in the little tooled impressions, and you need to do that. It's going to be very challenging. If you get bubbles, by the way, you might do okay to kind of blow on them or get rid of those things. This is going to be very challenging to get this done in an appropriate time, but we will fuss at it.
All right, so if you're at a hobby store and you're looking at paintbrushes, you know, they have oil brushes, acrylic brushes, yada yada yada. Like, do you want to make sure that you're getting the correct brush for the medium that you're going to be using?
That would be smart.
Okay.
Yeah, the one thing about it, the quality of the brush is directly related to the price.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
Good brushes last you a long, long time as a rule.
As long as you take care of them,
Yeah.
clean them up,
Yep.
store them well. Don't let all the bristlies get all wild.
Yeah. Trying to do the easiest stuff first here, so that we can get to a place where we can make something interesting happen, hopefully.
Yeah, Michael, I don't think that the brush necessarily, the leather is a canvas like any other. And so I don't think it's as much about the canvas as it is about the style of paint that you're using.
Well, it's several things.
Okay.
And I'm, you know, if I ever had a claim to fame, it's not going to be my ability as an artist. It's just not going to be that. So one of the things that I've learned is that the more you learn to see colors in relationship to light, the better off you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what makes everything. It just does. It makes everything. And
I think also recognizing that nature is varied in tone. Nature is varied in, it's not all perfectly consistent color. There's so much so, like, being okay with the fact that you have different tones, or you have a lighter green here and a darker green here, or you have some variation, that just makes everything look more natural.
yeah.
And I think that's good.
So, yep. Don't worry about perfection. If you're a perfectionist, don't even start this.
All right.
I mean, is that like simple or what? That's just very true.
That's why I've never like really got too much into painting. I try too much, but with artwork, I try to be too perfect with it. And
Yeah,
it
well,
creates problems.
I am not even remotely trying here.
And especially with leather, like antique is a game changer. So once you get all the color, I feel like as you're coloring things, it always looks a little bit off when it comes to leather. And after everything dries, you get a good seal on it, and then you antique it. Like it's 100% different, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
After the antique, I remember when Clayton and Denny were working on that peacock, and Clayton had it all colored. Denny had tooled it, and then Clayton had started coloring it. And it looks weird because like the cracks don't get the paint doesn't run down into them really well, so you kind of have these sections that just look off. But man, once you whack that antique on there and it gets down in all the grooves, it's perfect and it's done.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Boy. And if I don't talk much, it's because I'm trying to think and do this at the same time, and
You're good.
I have a hard time doing more than one thing at a time. But that's the way it is.
Do you know what a filbert tip brush is?
Do I?
Yeah.
A silver tipped brush?
Filbert.
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 I've heard the term, but I couldn't define it for you. I wonder if it's shaped like a nut.
A filbert?
Yeah, it'd be
Is it like a
rounded, you know.
Mhm. Like a fan?
No, more like if you shine the arch.
Let's see here.
Oh.
Okay, well,
I think it depends on what you're doing, probably. Like one of those?
Yep,
No,
really,
not one of
really
those?
kind of
Okay.
does.
So if you just took the fans and just kind of cut the arch at the top, it's a little thicker
I-
too.
It probably just depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, the brushes just make, I mean, man, they make your life easier. That is for a fact.
Got your ultra fine tip. You coming in with a little white?
Just a little. And
You'll put a little fog in the distance.
no, I have, yeah. You know, I know how to do that, but you get into too much stuff and it's just going to take till next week to be done. And I don't want to do that if I can help it.
Justin, can you go to the overhead? Fulton says, "Hey, Kevin,
Hey,
are dandelions starting to show up?" Not yet. I don't think I've seen
ours?
it. I don't think
They're
so.
all over the place.
Are they?
They never died. I've had dandelions all.
The little purple ones are all whatever those are.
Well, yeah, that's different. But yeah, the daffodils and dandelions, and man, they're out there.
So, yeah,
They're just.
Brandon, one of Brandon's lizards eats them, and so he's been walking around collecting them.
Guess I haven't paid attention to the dandelions.
Let's see. The fun part really comes when you start adding colors on top of colors, or at least I think it's the fun part anyway. So you may not.
Can you work like 2 inches?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Kevin is in his field about this. He's
Oh, let's see
getting up
here. Oh, this says brown. That's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Good old brown. Well, and again, you know, the fact that I'm just dipping my. If you were to do this, if you were any kind of a talented person at all, you would be changing brushes between colors or cleaning them really quite thoroughly, which I'm not.
You're just putting a hint of moss in everything, you know?
Well,
But yes. I doubt that this is going to be an in-person class, but you're welcome to watch this video many, many times and follow along.
Well, and you know, for what it's worth, in my defense, which I need some right now, you know, the way you get one of the best ways to get really good at something is to watch some people that are perhaps better than you do it.
Absolutely.
And I am not. You know, there's a lot of people that are so much better at doing this kind of thing than I am. But you get something from everybody.
Yeah.
And that is really nice.
Mix a little bit of black in with our brown. Add some depth to the rock here.
Yeah.
You know, this morning I saw a video about how to make cookies using magnolia blooms. Apparently a northern magnolia, they had a pink magnolia, and they made a syrup and boiled the magnolia blooms into the sugar syrup for the cookie, and it gives like a little bit of a ginger hint. And then they froze some and grated the bloom into the cookie, and I was like, that sounds delicious.
You can even make jelly out of redbud blossoms.
I bet so. I bet most little blossoms that are edible.
Well, I didn't know that.
Do things. That sounds good.
Well, I didn't know about that either, but I'm not going to do it. Because I don't want to go out and try to get a quart of redbud blossoms. I mean,
Erica, we are using Angelus Paints. So at this point in this painting, we have used green Angelus paint, which is, this one doesn't have a number on it, but it's just the green one. Okay. And then we have black Angelus paint. This is just all in one big matrix. And we've used white and dark brown. Or just brown. I'm sorry, just straight up brown so far. Those are the four colors. We do have scarlet red out here, so we'll see what we. But I think if you even bought like the basic 12 is gonna come with most of the colors that you would need, or enough that you could make almost any color.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we have like 100. There's literally they make 100 standard colors. They've got special edition colors that match like sneakers.
And you really don't need them.
Glitters.
I mean, I'd love to sell them, but you really just don't need all those colors.
Okay.
Now, if it's your hobby, that's a different matter. Then you have all the colors you want.
But if it's your business, you're probably going to be frugal about it.
Well, you know, if it's a hobby, you can justify anything.
Yeah, I think Chris learned that from you.
He
You tell my wife that.
has a lot of knife making supplies, eh?
Yeah, and he keeps finding adjacent hobbies that he needs all the supplies for.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Well, I gotta do that. Okay, this is not ideal, but
We're getting a big fan here. Or a medium-sized fan.
yeah, I think I need some paint.
Okay, moving on to a yellow.
Well, we're gonna just, and one thing nice about paint is it can sit on top of other paint if it's already dry, which is kind of happy.
I believe our trading card is the same size as like a baseball card. It's a weird fractiony number. Are you looking it up? Okay, Justin will drop a link. We've got like a one, but I mean you don't have to. Honestly, you can make it whatever size you want. We get people. This is one that's been sent in. This is one that's been sent in. This one. So, whatever size trading card you want to make us, we'll be happy to accept.
Whoa,
So excited with that one.
we got some extra black. That's okay.
And then, yeah, just send it to our South Glenstone address, 1463 South Glenstone. You can put attention Liz and Denny, or just attention trading cards. These are, as well, Kevin cleans up his mega mess over here. These are some of the trading cards that we've received from different folks. I've got one guy that almost sends me a trading card almost every quarter, which has been fun.
Lots of times. And by the way, many times, depending on what I'm doing, I like to put paint on with my fingers.
Do you?
I really do, yes.
So you like to finger paint?
Well, I guess you could call it that.
That's right, Chevy. Spearmint.
Well, I don't have any color there. I need some color there.
Does Kevin use mousse in his hair?
No.
I think you use a comb every once in a while, don't you?
Oh, it's a brush.
It's a brush.
Otherwise, it just blows all over the place, and it does blow all over the place, and I don't care.
Kevin's past that point of life.
It infuriates my wife, but that's okay, because that's part of my job. I'm supposed to do that.
You know, that's what Chris tells me. I don't know how I feel about this. You guys are getting too similar already.
Huh.
I thought I had a few more years before he turned into you.
Wow. He's gonna be a great guy.
He's gonna be a great guy. Not quite there yet, but we're getting there. He's pretty okay. He puts up with all my shenanigans.
Yeah.
Put up with all your shenanigans. He puts up with all of our shenanigans.
He does. He puts up with all of our shenanigans. All 60, how many ever people that work here.
He's fairly tolerant.
Yes.
You know, these fan brushes are kind of handy for poking color.
It allows you to do a decent amount at once.
Yeah. Well, and this this brush that I have here is like 10 times too big. But that's okay.
I guess the size of brushes really depend on the scale. If we were doing this dude, all the brushes that you have would be too big, and you would just be painting with that one tiny one, I think. Maybe the first one you started out with for a few things, but mostly the itty bitty one.
Well, one thing about the color black that's good to remember is it's very overpowering. So if you're going to use it, try to be sort of semi-halfways a little bit careful. Otherwise, you're going to have to paint over stuff. This is why I paint with my fingers sometimes, because you got to smear something or wipe something around, and that just is the way it is.
Fulton, the email address is kevin@springfieldleather.com. And if you can convince the old man to do something new and novel that he hasn't done in a while, then my best of luck to you. This isn't really something that Denny does. Ooh,
What?
that's fun.
I thought so.
That just 100% altered the grass.
Yeah, because
You hit all of those little points that you had modeled on the surface.
yeah.
Suddenly it's three-dimensional.
Well, that's hopefully. You remember what we said about getting that paint on there kind of fast in the first place, is so you had something to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got sort of something to work with, and we just have to do some other little things. So,
I mean, yeah, like look at the difference between this grass over here and then this that he hasn't touched. That's still all like there's just so much going on now on that corner. So you just went in with a little black with your green.
yeah,
Just swooped it across.
it's kind of challenging to get the.
Dean loves this video. He's all about what you're doing right now.
Well,
Too much water?
I don't know. If you remember, I told you I didn't know what I was doing.
He's fussing it.
Well, I was being very truthful.
I'm going to let you know that you have a lot of black right here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was very well aware of that, you know. I mean, I am the one that spilled it. Squish, squish. Okay, now. Now I'm forced to remember how to do stuff that I did 40 years ago.
Are we getting to water? Or are we still working on our green?
You know, I don't know if I'm going to get to the water.
That's okay. We got next Wednesday.
Oh. I guess while I'm doing this, I could do. That would work. As long as I got all this dumb black dye, black paint. It's not really dye at all.
Was there some spillage? Yeah, we have a black puddle. But it's not spilled on the canvas. It's just spilled on the palette. So we're good. Oh, yeah. Got to do mountains.
Yeah, eventually. And mountains are, actually they're much, much easier than a person might think. Because there isn't any perfection in mountains that I'm aware of. Well, I mean, they're perfect, but
Just as they are
yeah.
in their natural, imperfect state. However, those two tectonic plates collided, made great mountains.
Yeah, a lot of, if you've ever watched Bob Ross and other people that have done that particular style of painting, you can put paint on with a piece of metal. That's really a pretty nice way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could get away with that here for what I'm...
Is the biggest issue that we don't have a flat surface?
No,
No?
it's really not. You know, I just don't know.
Well, we're
I've
gonna
never
try
tried
it.
this
We're
on...
going to spearmint.
Well, it sure ain't a brush, I can tell you that.
So there was, as he was tooling, he's got some lines in here. Pretty much the only vertical-ish
It
lines.
really needs to be a
on
thicker
everything.
paint to use with this.
Gotcha.
And we may get to that here in a while, but for now, I think we're just going to kind of go with what we got.
I see that you're swooping away from those vertical lines that you put in the mountain.
Yeah, a little bit.
Trying to provide some direction to the mountain. Luna, you had gone to lay down on your bed a while ago, but that didn't seem to stick. Yeah, make sure you save your SLC boxes as cardboard for your painting purposes. It's a good blotting surface because it soaks stuff up, not super quickly, but quickly enough. Get it all off on there. Got plenty of room. Good scraps. Everybody's got boxes on top of boxes these days because we order everything.
Yeah, nothing like boxes on top of boxes. Paint on top of paint. And
So are these rocky mountains, or are they going to have some
most
greenery?
are. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Let's see here. Oh, now we're getting into
Somebody
Neverland.
suggested that you make a volcano out of one of them.
No.
There you go.
I'm sure you could tool a volcano. It might not. That might be challenging.
So instead of a river flowing, you could have a volcano flow.
Yeah.
That could be a fun thing. That could be fun to tool. You have like blacks on the top where it started cooling, and then you could have red cracks everywhere. That would actually be probably pretty fun to tool. A lot of texture.
Okay, now the challenging parts.
What is Kevin's pizza order? Kevin is very specific about his pizza.
Well, number one, I go to Bricktown.
Yeah.
Bricktown combination pizza is just pretty doggone hard to beat.
That oven fire, that brick oven fire.
So a combination, like a veggie with some meats.
Yeah,
What kind of veggies do you like on your pizza?
all of them, especially onions and jalapenos.
Extra onions.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin.
What?
Are you a pineapple on pizza person?
You know, I can eat it, but that's not me.
I feel that answer. That's how I am.
All right, so we see where the light's coming in on our painting here.
We do?
Yeah, you just put it on the mountain.
Oh. I thought it was paint. Well, humor tends to deteriorate the more I
Concentrate.
work at this.
Man, we discovered a really good pizza place in Sheridan last year. It was the day before we left. And ironically, we went, and I guess it would have been Saturday, and they had some sort of local bodybuilding competition that had also happened that day because they all came to this pizza place as we were having dinner
So Chris fit right in?
to eat their fill. Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the pizza joint. It was hilarious. They just kept coming in, and you could tell because, you know, they all ordered tons of food, but then they were also just weirdly tanned because that's what bodybuilders do in competition. So they were all slightly orange or pretty orange.
Really?
Yeah.
What are the odds of that?
It was hilarious.
Hmm.
But it was good pizza. They had good pizza. Looking good.
Well,
That's all right. I'll say that it's looking good. You can disagree with me. Although I don't think that you should because it does look good. Man, that white on that one side of that mountain just went pop.
you know, the thing that's difficult for me is I'm used to painting with oil.
Okay.
I'm not used to it. That's what I have painted with primarily is oil.
Mm-hmm.
And oils are really easy because they don't dry. You can smush them around just like forever.
Gotcha.
And that's pretty nice.
Is that what Bob Ross uses?
Yeah.
I haven't watched a Bob Ross in a long time.
They just play his, like Twitch and YouTube just has a 24/7 Bob Ross channel.
That's amazing.
Last time I watched any of his stuff was when I was at the dentist office waiting to get in. They had it playing on the TV.
That's fun.
that can sit there and coagulate for a moment, hey?
A.
Hey. You know, I can tell you one thing for sure and certain.
What's that?
This would be a lot easier if I did know what I was doing.
You keep saying that, but all of us sitting here think that you're doing just fine.
Well, as long as it looks like mountains when I'm done, I'll be happy.
I think we're gonna have to come back Wednesday and do water.
Oh gosh, water is impossible.
Well, we're gonna have to do
Trying to
it.
get out of that. You know, let's see. Okay. Now, what we've. Oh gosh. Okay, I should do something amazing, shouldn't I?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Bye, William.
Okay. This is semi-amazing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that quite right, but
We're tapping off some yellow here. He's thinking hard.
or hardly thinking.
Hey, Dan. All right. You're on the wrong side.
Well, that brush is just flat out too big. There's no way we're going to be able to work with that like that. So we'll use this one. We will try to use this one. Then we will put yellowy stuff on there, some white stuff in there, some green stuff in there, kill it with a little tiny itty bitty bit of black, and hopefully add a little yellow on towards the end there.
Oh, we're highlighting our trees.
Well,
Because now we know where the light's coming from.
hopefully. This is where it would be good if we had a smaller fan brush.
And now we do. That doesn't want to cut, does it?
No. These are pretty good brushes. The bristles are pretty good.
Now we have a smaller brush.
Well, it's got a smaller brush print, I guess you'd call it. Let's see. And it's probably hard to see what that does, but it does do something. And maybe, just maybe.
I think you took too much black off.
Maybe. It's kind of hard with this stuff. It's easy to not be able to smush.
Yeah.
A little softening. So anyway, black can be used to create a little bit of shadow, if you will. And it's kind of working.
I think so. I'm checking it out from the overhead, and it does provide a little bit of depth in there. Yeah.
And there's more that could be accomplished with that. The date on that picture up there is
1985?
1990.
1990.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't the same as what I'm doing here, so this is
No.
anyway. It's very difficult not to get in too much of a hurry, because I'm impatient. And I get in a hurry.
You're so funny. You're impatient, but you could spend all day, but you don't want to spend all day.
Well,
You're a bit of an oxymoron, it seems.
did you just say I was a moron?
It's the oxy one.
Oh. Okay. Well, we have got to get some stuff down in there.
Little shadow under our tree. We brought the grass up into the bottom of the tree. Look at that. You just put it on and you just smudge it in. I love it. Listen, Chevy, all I have is harassing Kevin. That's what gets me through a week. So that's what's gonna happen.
And she's really good at it.
That's what I got. Otherwise, I would just have to do work.
What a pleasant thought. All right, so just to kind of.
I love some barbecue pizza, so I think pineapple barbecue, I feel like I've probably had that at some point in my life. I'm on board.
That's what Shannon uses barbecue sauce instead of marinara.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the pineapple. She likes olives.
Yeah. Chris's pizza is one thing. You can put other things, but when he wants pizza, he wants every meat that they might offer and black olives.
All the protein.
Yeah. So that's what Chris gets. So he always gets his own pizza. And then I get whatever floofy non-pizza I'm going to get.
Yeah, I like lots of meat on my pizza too. I'm not big into Italian sausage.
Yeah, I don't, and see, everybody always, I'm not a huge sausage lover in general. I don't love the taste or sometimes the whatever.
After effects.
Yeah. Just sometimes they put weird spices in it and it can be a little sweet and I don't like that. Or sometimes I don't like the grittiness of like a fatty sausage. But
I like a good margarita pizza. I'm not picky, but if I choose, that's what I'm choosing.
little orange in there.
Well, I wanted to do that so people could kind of get an idea of before we leave off here. Now, if you look at that at the right angle, that's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is just full strength orange, kind of, sort of, pretty much, mostly with water, a little water, I guess, a little black, whatever's in this brush. And and we're gonna use red and white and blue and all kinds of stuff in there, just not right this minute.
Okay.
So,
Well, how are you feeling?
I was thinking about lunch.
I think it's a good time for lunch, and then I think on Wednesday you can come back.
Oh, gosh, you know, I'm thinking about doing this in 1 hour. That's not how this works, Liz.
I know. That's why you can take as long as you like. I don't think any of them are going to complain. I think everybody is having a lovely time watching you.
Well, I
doodle away.
feel like I'm just being the most boring person in the world, sitting here poking paint onto this.
You know, in a world that moves so fast, sometimes it's good to just have
Yeah.
a slow.
And I think, for somebody that's going to try to do this, I think it's nice to see how you're layering things. Just kind of everything is about adding a little bit of texture here and there when it comes to coloring, making it look natural. And so, you just kind of have to worry it a little bit.
Well, that's true. I'm worried. Does that help? I'm worried that it's going to come out even halfway decent.
Chevy says we love to watch paint dry. I mean, one time when we were painting this wall, people did join us to paint the wall and watch it dry. It was very exciting for everyone. There was a decent amount of people in here that watched that.
Watching paint dry?
Mm-hmm. We have real sophisticated people. Dean said white clouds in the background.
Oh my gosh.
Just like a question. And so you kind of have a white that you're doing here. Are you going to add more to the top, or how do you feel about the sky right now?
No, the sky needs to be different, and
Do you think as you get the blues out, that like you'll start kind of fussing with the top?
well, I don't. You remember when I told you I really don't know what I'm doing?
He doesn't have a pla, guys.
But I did just put some white on top of these trees. A little bit. And I just got to remember to keep looking away.
Simple minds, simple pleasures. That's a good. I think you'd appreciate that. Simple minds, simple pleasures. That could be a Kevinism. One time he asked me to go to lunch, and then he said, I need someone with a simple mind but a strong back, because then he also needed to load soil into the back of his pickup truck at Lowe's across the street from Culver's. And apparently, little old Liz was up for the task, which I think I did okay. This has been a long time
Probably
ago.
so. Okay, so we got some color in it, and I'd really like to. I want to get some more color because I like the thought of reds and yellows and blues and bright floral stuff. I just got weird colored stuff on my lake. Well, so be it.
A couple speckles.
I could always go back and put a rock there.
Exactly.
So, and that's kind of important too. Okay, I'm going to close this up because this is a disaster waiting to happen. And there's just.
Are you feeling like this is a good place to let her rest for a little bit and come back?
I have a terrible time letting it rest and coming back. Terrible.
Maybe you'll feel more inspired later. I mean, we could come back later
Oh,
if you want to just do this all afternoon.
I actually
We'll just
have
stream all day.
work to do.
Technically, this is part of my work day. Alrighty, folks. We are going to continue this next week, no matter what Kevin says.
And thank you ever so much for watching.
Yep.
I will try and it looks better from far away.
I thought that they might want to see a little more up close. I think that's awesome.
on the well, it looks better that way than it does right in front of my face.
Right?
Okay.
I think she's coming right along. Alrighty, folks. Well, Wednesday we will be back. and Kevin will continue to worry his leather with some paint. Thank you so much. Live shopping estimates from yesterday are in your inboxes now. I finished it up around 10 a.m. this morning, so go check that out and get those paid. If you have any questions, let me know. We did have some alternates in here filling out the sheet yesterday, so if there's some funky things, just holler at me. I'll get it updated.
A social media post today
So,
talking about some live shopping stuff, so keep an eye out for that.
all right, keep an eye on our Facebook and our Instagram for some updates to some live shopping things that we're going to try. Alrighty, you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.